Hello and welcome back to Hard Mode and Hardware, and we're in my kitchen because we're doing a hardware video today. Okay, we're going to jump in and have a look at my machine, see what parts I've picked, why I've picked them, why I've made those choices for those parts. Before we start, it's not a supreme gaming machine. I know I'm going to get comments about that. It is, however, great for streaming and recording and encoding video while playing games, but you'll see anyway when I jump in and look through the parts list. Okay, for motherboard we've got the ASUS Strix Republic of Gamers X370F gaming motherboard. It's got USB 3, Type A and C, it's got 7.1 surround sound, it's also got software system controls in the form of the AI suite, which allows you to tweak things like core speeds, and fan speeds and various other things, which is great. It's great to be able to control your fan speeds based on the system temperature. When you really run those taxing games, it's great to know that the system will ramp up the fans as soon as it hits certain temperatures, and there's profiles you can save in order to do that. It's also able to take the new M.2 SSD drives. I haven't got one at the moment, as you can see, but it is probably going to be my next upgrade, just to improve boot times and load times and things like that. My CPU is the AMD Ryzen 7 1800X. Now, when I was building this system, it was around the time of the 7th generation Intel processors, and the main rival to this was the 7700K i7. Now, everyone will tell you that is a better gaming PC. It puts out more power per core, but it's not as good at multitasking. I saw quite a few reviews based on streaming and recording video, and each time the Ryzen 7 edged out the 7700K to be able to game and record at the same time. So obviously I went with the Ryzen because I knew I was going to be doing YouTube and things like that. It's got 8 cores, 16 threads, it's 3.6 gigahertz stock core speed, and it's 4 gigahertz boost speed, which is obviously not quite as fast as 7700K, but it does do multitasking really well, which you'll see from the benchmarks in the next video anyway. It's being cooled by a Cooler Master Liquid 240. I've mounted the radiator in the top of the case. It's 240mm radiator, 220mm fans, barely ever gets above 60 degrees, even when I'm running 4K games. For RAM, I've got Corsair Vengeance Low Profile White. It's 16 gigabytes and it's 3200 megahertz RAM. Now, when I first built the system, because of some issues with Ryzen, you could only run it at 2133 megahertz, but thanks to some BIOS updates over the last year or so, I'm now running it at 3200 megahertz. I'm going to stick in another 16 gigabytes at some point in the future to make a total of 32 gigabytes of RAM. For GPU, we're not messing around. We've got a Gigabyte Aorus GTX 1080 Ti 11GB Extreme Edition. Now, this got 11GB of GDDR5X running at 11 gigahertz, which is just insane. It's 352-bit interface. Its normal clock speed is 1607 megahertz, boosted up to 1721. That's in gaming mode. You can overclock it to 1632 megahertz at 1746 boost. It's in overclock mode. It's got 3,584 CUDA cores, which is a lot. It's a lot of cores. It's also got a fan stop mode, which means that you can actually stop all the fans from running in order to keep it quiet when it's not under load. As you can see right now, I mean, that is not a still image, that is the actual video. Because I wasn't taxing the system, the fans are off, it saves energy and it keeps it nice and quiet. For storage, I've got a Kingston 240GB SSD, which has got Windows and a couple of games and some software on it in order to make it load and run faster, and obviously make the system boot faster. And supporting that, we just got a boring old SEAGATE BARRACUDE 2TB mechanical drive. I say boring, but it does the job. It's SATA 3, so it's as quick as a mechanical drive can be. But your big storage is a lot cheaper if you get mechanical drives, and that's why I went with that. So powering my PC is the Corsair RM750X 750 watt power supply. It's fully modular. It's 80 plus gold certified, for power efficiency, and that also means that it's not only power efficient, it also produces less excess heat, which is great in a gaming system because you don't want more heat coming from the power supply, especially where mine is mounted, which is underneath the system. As you can see, it is fully modular. I wanted that for cable management reasons, but as you can see, even then there's a lot of cables going on. Thankfully the case hides that quite well. Now the case itself is a Cooler Master Case Pro 6. The reason I chose this case was because I wanted something that was kind of sleek looking, but at the same time I wanted the utility of being able to remove drive bays and things like that. I only wanted a minimal amount of drive bays. I wanted more space, especially for that giant GPU, and it is big, and you can probably notice it's got a little bit of card flex on it. So I wanted the space to be able to mount that card. It's also got excellent space for cable management behind the motherboard tray, and which makes it great for keeping the system clean. As you see, my system is quite clean. It's also got room for water cooling if I want to do it in future. It's also got the ability to pop out panels in order to allow more airflow, and you can in fact remove the panels altogether if you want to, which will really improve the airflow, although I wouldn't recommend it because they do go some way to protect it from dust. Although I suppose really if dust is going to find its way into your case, it will find its way into your case regardless of what gaps you've got. So I just really like the design of the Cooler Master case, so I went with that in the end. The side panel obviously on the side, allowing me to show off all those expensive components. So that's my system. As I mentioned, it's not the best it could be. Many will argue that I should have gone down the Intel route, but being able to stream and record video while playing the best games, that's what really sold me on a Ryzen system, and to be honest with you, it hasn't let me down. You will see in the benchmarks in the next video how this performs even with 4K gaming, and it's a beast. But also being able to record video and encode video and stream without any issue is also a big plus. Okay, well thanks for watching. I hope you found that interesting. If you want any advice or tips about building a machine, or if you've got any questions about upgrading your machine, what's best, what will go with what, how to mess with any settings, pop a comment below. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, it helps me out. Don't forget to hit the little bell so you don't miss any more of these fantastic videos. We've got Survival coming up again. I'm going to be playing that again, so that'll be on Friday's video. And then next week what we'll do, we'll run through some actual gaming benchmarks of my machine, just to put it through its paces and show what it can do, even though it's not an Intel machine, I know. But you'll see that next week anyway. So thanks for watching, and don't forget, until the next video, play it on hard mode.